Well, my name is Anas, and I live in Canada, and I run a business called Off the Map Adventures, which uh, through this business, we actually connect people around the world, around the globe. And the idea is that we learn to understand each other, appreciate our nature, and do things that are good for each other and to save the planet. That was really the motivation behind starting the business. So that was, that's something that I started almost like 15 years ago, kind of part time. But then now it's developed into a full time business for me. So this is what I've been doing for the last many years, traveling around the world, and had the opportunity to meet wonderful people like yourself, and
Thank
you know, we had some great exchange conversation that I still remember pretty fondly, and I think we kind of think about uh, things, people, how we feel about each other, kind of in a similarly good way. So anyways, I won't go into a lot into my introduction, but
you.
really just to sum it up and what we do.
Well, thank you for playing. As I tell everybody, we're just going to play as a conversation. We don't know what's going to show up.
You're right.
So for us today, what came to mind for us, perhaps to speak on, were three words:
Hmm.
peace, silence, and nature.
Hmm. Hmm.
So as I throw that out there, what thoughts come to mind?
Well, I think this is something that I've been really thinking about a lot, especially in this time. Peace, silence, and nature. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna pick silence out of here first because I think that's necessary to do with peace. And uh, so basically, what happened when this whole pandemic thing started, like maybe a year, about a month and a half ago, we were starting to get news from different parts of the world, where we had our trips going, and it felt like, okay, something is happening, but it's maybe not so serious. It's going to be contained, and but then it suddenly spread and grew, and it is to the scale that we see it right now. My first inclination was, of course, we had to um, do the safeguard measures for our clients, and just to make sure that they are safely back home, or those who are unable to join the trips, to deal with that. So there was a lot of dealing with that in in the month of March. And once that kind of became very obvious in the world that now there's a lockdown situation, we won't be able to go anywhere, and those people who are out there have to come home and come back to the safety of their homes. It took some time, but in the meantime, what I experienced personally was there was an outrageous amount of opinion going around to what it is, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I took almost a 1 month leave from that noise. So talking about silence, this was my first response, that I cannot deal with so many of these things coming out, people talking about issues uh, that are really not related to what the human condition of suffering was. And I felt really badly that there are people who are suffering either directly or indirectly because of the impact of what's going on. People are losing their jobs, they're losing their opportunities for running their household properly. And there are these people talking about conspiracies. Is it Bill Gates, or is it China, or is it the US? And it just, so I took a leave of silence, and this was something that I had never done before. It was my first time, Isabel, and I pretty much all of the month of April, I shut down the noisy channels in my social media feeds. Just kind of kept quiet. And I think it. I don't want to blame people for what they're going through, because there's a lot of uncertainty and whatever. But what I wanted to do was that I should um, uh, become a person who can just walk away quietly from it for now, which is very difficult for me to do, right? I love to talk, and that's the problem, right? So I just basically just walked away from it quietly, and I said, I need my own peace and focus. It's important that I am well enough to look after my family. Now, we are not very heavily impacted from this whole thing. Of course, I'm in tourism business, which is a total shutdown right now. So there is that impact. But as a family, we are very good. We're together. My wife and I, we started to go out on nature walks, which was something really wonderful. In Canada right now, we're just kind of coming out of the winter still because, up till mid-April, the third week, we still had some snow, but it's getting better now. The snow is gone, and you know, kind of spring is just around the corner. So beautiful days. We started to walk. I have three kids, so I started to walk with them individually, which was something that I'd never done before. They always come together. So something really amazing of an impact. So we have a conservation area just right close to our place where we live, and we just usually just go for a walk there. And it's a lot of peace and a lot of beautiful nature to observe. And I think it speaks to all those three words that you talk about. That silence, helped me a lot to gather myself again, because I was really down, uh, with all the political nonsense and all the things that people are going through. People are losing money. You know, there are people who can't really get to their trips, but there's no money back, right? This is a big problem, and we feel really badly for all these people who have paid. And what do we do? So, you know, so a bunch of other things, but I think what really helped was our family being together. We have kept the routine at home. We wake up on time. We just do all those things that we do on a normal day. Just kind of create that work from home environment. And I have a little, office here in my basement that I can just get away from. And we made sure that we ate together, like we always try to do at home as a family. So yeah, so I think all those things have really, really, really contributed to the word peace that I have not talked much about. So uh, I'm really at peace because of those two things, just silence and our walks in the nature. It's just been wonderful.
Mm,
That's why you feel I'm feeling so good. You could tell, right?
I could tell. So your trips, right? Tell us a little bit about the places that you choose to highlight as part of your company and your business, because I see your fantastic pictures and these remote areas. How is that process for you, and do any of those things that you were speaking on, the silence and the peace, come into play when you select the places you'll take your clients or customers?
Well, we do a lot of interesting treks in nature. So absolutely, on any time, any time, even on a regular trip, it's all about going outside, and it's about seeing nature. There's a lot of noise in the big cities, and often it's unavoidable, because to go to some place you have to go to the airport, you have to land into the big city. uh, there's also part of that you can learn with respect to culture and the metropolitan life and all that, but you have the opportunity, especially at least on our trips, we see there basically the idea of the trip is to go out and see as much as possible about that country, especially the nature and the historical sites. So you have the opportunity to go out, and there's an opportunity to connect with nature. Absolutely. So we don't really have a specific agenda to just, like, we don't really do peace trips as kind of spirituality trips, but I often I run into them. The last time I took my kids to Machu Picchu, and we were on a walk, and I don't know if you've been there, but
Yes.
the site has uh, if you walk about an hour away from the site, there's the Sun Gate. The Sun Gate is the place where the hikers come in, and I have done this hike a couple of times myself, and it's a really beautiful walk, 4 days along the Inca Trail. But the Sun Gate is very interesting because The sun gate is where you come in for the first time and you just see this beautiful valley, and you can't even recognize much beach because it's just a tiny little hill, down in the valley. But you see the grandeur of it, and the landscape. And we just walked up with my kids, and there was a group just sitting and trying to meditate in peace. I mean, not a great spot for peace because there are a lot of tourists coming in, but but they were really focused, and we became part of it, right? Just so it was a really interesting experience, and that happens now more, especially in South America, that you see, at sites people come in and do their whatever meditation they're doing. And sometimes you can kind of feel that peace because you see, okay, they're doing this something really peaceful activity. They're either sitting down quietly, or they just are just softly humming, whatever they are reciting. We don't have a specific program that we deal with to do with anything like that, but there are opportunities that come across on our trips that that kind of feed into that. um, I think, but now, post COVID, there will be a particular need to address this, because I think there hasn't been a high time to think about nature than now, because now people who are locked in, they really value, how important nature is and how important it is to conserve it, because now we see that we don't have the pollutants going up in the air, especially by not driving. We nature is really coming back. It's just so beautiful to see. So absolutely, I think this is something I've been thinking about every day. I mean, this is it is no doubt a disaster for those who are suffering, but there's a flip side to it too, which is this recovery that nature has kind of thrown in.
Yeah.
And we can all feed from it, because it's really, at this time, we have been such a fast-paced society, this go 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 all the time, and it's time to kind of just relax and think for a moment. Let's talk about other priorities in life.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. And I'm
sorry I
always,
just went on a rant.
no, don't be sorry. I just, in terms of nature, to me, what's so astounding is that it's been so quick. That Mother
Yeah,
Nature has this capacity to regenerate itself, to cleanse itself, to really heal itself so quickly when we get out of the way.
yeah,
And I think that's
that's
also,
available.
part of, like, a reflection of how we are as human beings too, in a sense. Like, if we get out of our own way, we have that innate capability to
Hmm.
renew
Hmm.
and to restore ourselves. So thank
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
for pointing that out. And anything else, it's almost close to our time. Anything else you'd like to share that comes to mind on peace or silence or nature?
I should be just silent when it comes to talk about silence. But I think there are a lot of people out there at this time, and especially you. I mean, I don't know too much about you, but the fact that the little conversation we had back when we met in Colombia, um, there are other people I know who are using this opportunity to connect with people, and I think for connection is a very essential part of peace. Uh, the, if you are connected in the right way, with the right spirit, I mean, it's nothing but part of peace. So there are two sides to it, which I always feel it encompasses, that the nature, we are all part of this nature together, but there is this role of us as individual with human beings, no matter where they come from and no matter what their background is. We have a connection. We have a longing to hug each other, embrace each other, feel each other's pain, feel each other's joy. So those people who are going out and sharing this, they are doing a great service to this planet.
Mm.
And I kind of feel that you're part of that whole network.
And so are you.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your perspective, and hope to be seeing you soon on some trekking adventure in the not too distant future.
I hope so too.